make this. Oh, there it is. The tears of technology have been flowing from my mental eyes for, we've been talking this for 45 minutes. Listen, if it doesn't work, I will leave. But going back to my mantra, I cannot stress over what I cannot control. I think that there's a delay too. Well, I hope it fixes itself. So we're just gonna go with it. Whatever. So good morning. My name is AmyKochek with AmyKochek Creative. My job is to tell stories. So what I do is the ghostwriting. I do copywriting, editing, and coaching, all with the foundation of helping people tell their stories. Because I believe the most powerful asset that you have in your life is your story. Your story comes to heal you first, and then to heal other people. And if you feel stuck, frustrated, you need clarity, you need a refreshing, reviving in your life, tell your story. So one of the things that I talked about this last week on my page was that I'm using my live as an opportunity to introduce you to extraordinary people with extraordinary stories. And I want to make a point to say, to be an extraordinary person, you don't have to be on TV. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be at some form of success in your life. We all are extraordinary in our own right. We just don't allow ourselves to believe that because we're insecure, because we've fed these lies that you have to have something that society uses words in order for you to be extraordinary. But I don't believe that. So today we are starting with one of my dearest, most beautiful friends in the world, Shekinah Ellis. I've known Shekinah for over 10 years. I call Shekinah my personal angel because she was sent to me from above. Shekinah has taken me through some of the most difficult moments of my life through her love, her wisdom, her support. She's just a very special human being. And I think it's extremely fitting that I'm starting with her in this series of telling people stories, just because I think she's such a phenomenal woman, and you will not be disappointed in what she's going to share with us today. So, Chicago, we're going to get right into it. So, tell us about yourself, who you are, what you're doing, and anything else you want to share about who you are.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Amy. Let's see. My name is Shekinah. I'm just me. I'm just who I am. Okay, so right now, right now, I'm exploring the world, and I am living my life the way I want to. So if I want to do something, I do it. If I don't, then I don't. I live in Baltimore now. I grew up in the South, and I moved up north just because I decided that I wanted to travel. And I came out of a bad breakup, and it made me realize how much of my life I put on hold for people, and that's not how I want to live. So I asked myself, what do I want? How do I want to live? And so I packed up all my things in my car, and I came up here. And so right now I am pursuing my ambition of being a professional songwriter, and I'm loving life. So that's a little bit about me.
I love it. That's beautiful. So what we're going to do in the Extraordinary Story series is I want you to take a moment in your life. We all have this moment in our life where it's like, aha, wake up, the path that you were walking, you no longer want to walk anymore, and you start to shift. So I kind of want you to set that up for us. So tell us, what were the conditions before this aha big moment happened, and then what was this big moment that said, "Oh my goodness, Shekinah, this is not what I want, or this is not going the way that I want my life to go. I want to switch. I want to pivot."
So I remember a time in my mid to late teens where I was extremely busy. And I had a lot of things to do. And at first, there was the notion that I'm being really productive. I have all these things to do. I'm always busy. So I must be doing the right thing. And one year I looked back over my life and in reflection, and I was like, I've been really busy, but I don't know that I am being productive. And what's more, I don't know what I'm doing for me and what my purpose is. Because when you give thought to it, we really can do anything. We can devote our time to anything. But there's the question of what are we supposed to be devoting our time to? So I really had to have a lot of personal reflection as to what I wanted, why I wanted it, and what I was going to do about it, what I was doing about it, and what I was going to do about it. That led me on a journey of self discovery, self awareness, pursuit of purpose. And in doing that, I mean, it just required a lot of mental shift. I had to. I stopped hanging out with all my friends all the time, and not because I didn't want to, but I realized hanging out with my friends was time that I could spend in my room thinking about what I was supposed to be doing. I stopped watching a lot of movies because I could be upstairs reading a book about how to develop my mind. So I was willing to make sacrifices to figure out the heart of where I wanted to be in life. And so those were like little baby steps. And before I know it, I kind of had disconnected from everything that was familiar, everything that was comfortable, everything that I had given a lot of my time and my life to. But on the flip side, I was coming into this deep awareness of vitality that was inside of me and a stronger sense of purpose. And I kind of equate that to a seed being buried in the ground. It was like a very personal time. And on the surface, it just looked like, what is she doing? But on the inside, it was like, oh, there's so much happening here. So that's the leading up to the pivotal moment that I definitely have in my mind of a very pivotal moment for me.
Yeah. So, um, when you got to this point of like this realization of I'm busy, but I'm not busy doing things that I think I really need to do, or like the idea of just seeking better direction. What resources did you use? Like, do you have like specific books or practices that you put in
Mm.
place that took you to this? This is what I want, and this is who I am.
Mm. Well, one, I feel like I do recall a moment where I didn't listen. There were no outside sources, and I think that was half the
I
problem
love
because
that. I love it. That's my language.
because
Yes.
I think that was part of the problem. The first thing I tried to do was try to tap into a whole lot of resources, and everybody has so much to say, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So then I went through a time where it it was just like I do remember the Bible. The Bible was a very constant, guys. Always been a very part of my, very much a part of my upbringing since my childhood. It's always kind of somehow I always go back to it. So I
Yeah.
went to the Bible first, but then I was like, I even need a break from like reading anything and everything. I
Yeah.
just really need to listen to what my heart is trying to say, what my spirit is trying to say. And there was even part of the time where I questioned my faith. So I'm like, God, whoever you are, if you're there, you got to talk to me. And you already know that I'm not in a space to read anything. I'm
Mhm.
not going to normal websites. I'm not reading anybody's messages. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
So it was really just honestly listening to my own voice. And you want to know the beautiful thing
Mhm.
is that there's there's a piece of us that has never died since childhood. And the voice that I heard and the path that I'm pursuing is the same thing that was with me when I was like a child outside playing. And so it's more or less removing all the clutter so that what's already there, it can just breathe and be manifest. So
I love that.
that's kind of what it is, just shutting everything else out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things that I always say, like, your answers are found within, right? It's like we're always looking for who's smarter than me that can tell me, and what seminar and what conference. And not to take away from those, there's a
Yeah.
time and place. But sometimes it can become so loud with everybody else's perceptions and opinions that you miss what you just said. Like the seed that's been planted since you were a child is this daily um, tend to it so that it can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. No, I just want to say, because the truth is that everybody in some level, we're all on the same playing field as human beings. So at some point, one opinion is just that. But go ahead.
um, so I know in my own personal journey, there's a lot of noise from people that you love that have the best intentions for you, but may not understand your journey and understand the decisions you're making. How did you overcome constant outward chatter from people you trusted, your leaders, your family, your friends? How did you silence that and stay focused on what you had desired to start working on from within?
Drown out the voices in my head. What she feels, what he thinks, and they said. Until yours is the only one I hear. And until yours is the only one that matters. So, I'm sorry, so I randomly
I
said.
love that.
Okay.
Really, what is the
So,
chance to the other side? Listen, I'm telling all my audience, there's no one on this planet that can make me feel how Shekinah feels when she sings. And it's like, I told her this morning, it's not talent, it's not studying, it's not striving to become better. Some of us are just born with a gift, and that gift is to share with other people. And your gift, 100%, is to take what we cannot express, if, especially for me. You've taken moments of my life that I cannot express, put words to them, make it a song, and even the way you sing it, my soul immediately connects to it. It's not just that I'm enjoying your voice and the sound; those are I am, but my soul is saying yes.
wow.
Say that. Beautiful.
Wow.
But go ahead.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Um, so I remember once someone giving the analogy that if you're seasick, you have to look at the line between the horizon and the shore. You have to find a solid point that doesn't move, and you fix your eyes on that point. And I find that so I think everyone has to define an unmovable truth for them,
Mm.
a solid, unmovable truth. For me, it's God and the scriptures. But I know everyone doesn't have that same belief system. Whatever yours is, find it, stay fixed on it. And like if you're being a child being pushed around in the merry-go-round, if you find that one thing and you stay on it, keep your eyes on that. And whenever I take my eyes off of a solid truth, then I'm looking around and I'm distracted and I'm like, I'm nervous, I'm apprehensive, I'm fearful, all these things. But whenever I just calm down and I say, Shekinah, what is the truth? And you just put all of your energy on that, it settles me. And it naturally allows me to dissect and properly put in their place everyone else's opinions. Because the opinions of loved ones are just that, the opinions of other people. And just because we love them and they love us doesn't mean that it's right. you know. And here's what I do. I realize all the things that are human about me, all the things that over the past 10 years, how many times have I changed my mind or my opinion about something, about politics, about music, about health, about that? And how many times have I misjudged someone? How many times have I loved the person I should have ignored? Like, how many times have I done all these things? And with all of my humanities, with all of my frailties, with all of my good intentions, I have my limits. And then I realize that everybody's just like me. Nobody really has all the answers for anyone or anything. So when I am in a room or I hear someone else, I have to remember the truth that human beings are just human beings and we deserve respect, but we also shouldn't think of ourselves more highly than we should, or others as more highly than we should. That's
Yeah.
that's what I try to remember. Okay, go
I
ahead.
love that. I love that.
Okay.
So you're in your exploring process. You're the seed. You start to be quiet. So where does that lead you to? Where does that moment lead you to?
It leads me to a choice. It leads me to making a choice. It leads me to the edge of a cliff of a decision that says, if you're going to do it, then there's a place of no return. there's a place where there's a place in your journey where you can go back and everything will be okay. You can assimilate and you can just wonder what if and then move past. And there's a place where if you cross that path, you can never go back. And so that's what happened to me. It's like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to start making moves. I'm going to start cutting people off. I'm going to start having another mindset, and I won't be able to go back from this. And whatever it takes, and I don't even know what it may take, but I know that I can't stay here.
So where's the place that you can't go back to? What does it look like?
I can't go back to thinking that it's all about me. I can't go back to thinking that as long as I have what I need, everything is going to be okay. And that leads to a whole series of thoughts for me, like I can't go back to having all the answers, but I also it propels me to find out what is never going to change and what is true. I don't know how else to say it, Amy. I can't go back to how I used to be. I can't go back to how I used to be. Listen for a song that'll say it better than me.
So this Shekinah before the pivotal moment and now Shekinah after. How do these two live differently, think differently? How are their values different?
So let me tell you the actual pivotal moment, okay? First of all, I had all these mental like little moments, like I was telling you, leading up to. One day I was out and I was hanging out with my friends. And you gotta help me keep track of time, because you know when you and I talk, girl, it could be like a whole day thing.
Girl, I don't know how long we've been on this. We're
okay. Okay.
We're all together.
Okay, so I was out with my friends, and my parents at the time had a house that was out in the country, and so we used to love going outside. So we took a walk outside, and then there was this cliff, like it was like an old dock, and there was this cliff, and you could you could see what it used to be. And I was like, my friends were playing outside, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna jump off this. And they were like, don't do that. That's gross. I was like, why not? It's not a big deal. And they were like, that's gross. That's nasty. Oh, something could happen to you. What if it's not deep? What if you could hit your head? And I was like, okay, fine. So I didn't jump. And I didn't really think anything of it. I mean, I wanted to do it. But then the next day, somehow we end up in the same spot. And I have this overwhelming sense of jump Shekinah. And I was like, no. And there was like this audible voice saying, jump, go. And I'm like, I can't, I'm scared. But then it was like, at that moment, I realized it was a metaphor for my life, that there are some things that you just have to make a decision for. There's not always a gradual phase for some changes. Sometimes you have to just go all in, and it will cost you everything. I had my clothes on. Oh, and then I see this little kid, because at this point there's some like extra country people. Like, I'm country, but they're extra country people. Little kid just running and jumping in the water, and I'm like, he can do it, I can do it. But at that time, it was like I had an overwhelming sense of fear. My feet felt like lead. I was like, I can't do it. I can't. But I want to, but I can't. My friends were like, let's jump together. We're holding hands. They jump in. I leave them hanging. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, God, please help me jump. I need to jump. I need to jump. And I was like, I mean, somebody pushed me. Like, I just need to get over this edge. And and I remember even somebody was like, do you want a life vest? And I'm like, yeah. But then part of me was like, am I being doubtful because I'm jumping with a life vest and I'm not jumping without a life vest? God, do I trust you? I mean, it's like all these things. I end up jumping over. The first time this kid pushed me, and I was so thankful. And I was like, I'm going to jump. So I went back up and I jumped off the second time. And I remember being in the water. And when I was in the water, I was just floating along, and I was looking, and I was like, this like life is like this, like Pocahontas said, you're never in the same place twice. And you're existing, but you're also and you have to go with the current, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was pivotal for me because it was a mental barrier. Um, and it's okay to do it afraid. This is, you know, like I was afraid, but it's okay to do something afraid. Um, it's okay to get help. And I have this fantasy of myself being some strong warrior. Like, I can do this. I'm strong. I be telling people off. Sometimes I got to keep my mouth closed because I tell people off and I'm like, Shekinah, but you know, it's easier said than done. And then I realized some things are easier said than done. Or I also learned that it's easy for you to do things when you're operating under your own sense of what's normal. The moment I was like, oh, I can jump off this, it wasn't a big deal. But the moment someone else was like, why would you want to do that? Or that, what if this could happen? I was like, none of those things are going to happen. But I was like, well, maybe they're right. And so then I started to own those fears. And then before I knew it, those fears crippled me more than they crippled the people who even set them. So I think that I actually even went through a really deep level of depression after that. Part of me was celebrating the fact that I did it, and the other part was depressed because I felt like I didn't do it right, which was another phase of my life, was realizing that it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, sometimes you just got to do it. And so um, the enemies within are the ones that are really the ones that you have to fight, because once you realize that once you fight your fears and your own perceptions and the ways that you let people influence you, once you get over that barrier and you just be yourself, the life that you want, it finds you. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to find it, it finds you.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So, what's the um, what's the aftermath of all that? Like, what is
Mm.
life like right now? So, going through that difficulty, the internal learning, the changing, the jumping. What's that bring to you right now? What is it like?
It has been amazing ever since then. It was like that moment was like a whole new birth for me. It was like there was a new me born that day, a new me that said I can, if I can do that, I can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And um dealing with the notion that I can do anything gave me a sense of boldness and surety about whatever I walked into next in life. And another lesson that I learned too is that just because something isn't a big deal to someone else doesn't mean it's not a big deal to you. So just like how the kid was just jumping off, one, like, awesome job for parents training their kids not to live in fear. I love it. But also, because it wasn't a big deal to that child doesn't mean it didn't change my life that day, right? So to really just own your personal perspective, whatever that isn't, just own it and then live that out and walk in that truth, um, and take one day at a time.
Um, so, what does that cost you? Because I think sometimes we don't talk about
Mm.
that, right? We don't talk about like we talk about the good stuff and like on the other end, it's happiness, freedom, courage, excitement, but we don't talk about what did that cost you? That's a high, it's a high cost to bear.
Yeah, that question made me cry. It cost me everything. It cost me everything. Hold on a second, because I don't put on that much makeup, but the little bit I got.
I'm like Kleenex.
What?
When you sing that last song, the girl knew my face is gonna be buried in this.
It cost me everything. It cost me everything. I truly believe that everything that happens in the physical world is a manifestation of what happens in the invisible world. And I mean, it cost me family, it cost me friends, it cost me close relationships, it cost me comfort, um, it cost me a home, cost me money, it cost me everything. Um, but I was willing to give it up because if it's worth it, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, in that journey, even in the cost that you paid, what do you think are the three things, the three resounding lessons that you've learned the most in that process?
Hmm. I wrote some thoughts down. Let me see.
Yeah.
Most important. Um, if I have to pick one, it would definitely be drown out other people's voices.
Mm.
Drown them out. And I don't even care if you got to learn the hard way. Because, wait, that's part of it is people, oh, you always learn the hard way. I mean, living by what everybody, because here's the thing, like, everybody has something to say. So if the standard and the criteria is what other people say, when does that stop? So you have to have some way to know that you are on the right path for you, that you can walk in confidence. So drown out the other people's voices and trust your own. And if you learn the hard way and they're right, then great. And if you don't, then okay.
Mhm.
Um, some things there are no smooth transitions. Sometimes life will give us the transition of a seed to a tree, and other times you just have to jump off the edge. And there is no pretty way, no smooth way. You just got to do it. Um, and then the third thing is live by your own standard of normal.
Mhm.
Because the problem is that we live in a world where people are always saying words like, "That's so weird." What does that mean? Like, do you cuss on your page?
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck does that mean? What the hell gets it upon someone else being weird because they want ketchup on their noodles? Like,
Mhm.
it's different, but none of us are the same. None of us are equal. Like, according to that standard, our fingerprints are as weird as our personalities, which is as weird as our creativity. So, like, weird is reserved. There are some people that just we all agree are weird.
We've all
but,
agreed.
but even those people are living in some sort of set of whatever is true to them, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that I think it's important to live by your own definition of normal. What I was going to say, wrap this up, is is we have so many people who have greatness inside of them, and so for them, being great is normal. Them seeing themselves travel around the world, making a lot of money, having an out of the ordinary job is normal. And so that's what they aspire to. And people give them labels. And so if being normal for someone is working, and I'm not knocking out anyone's profession, but if you want to work as a teller at a bank for 40 years, and someone else says that, they want to be an entrepreneur and own this and have this and have this, then if that's their normal, let them do it. And you have to know, and we have to know, and I have to know, and remember that whatever my normal is what I'm entitled to live by. So
Yeah, I love that.
thank you.
So, what do you, now that you have a specific level of knowledge and wisdom, experience, how are you, um, how are you using that story? I always say that our story, if we are self-aware enough and know it and own it, it is used in every area of our lives, whether we know it or not. So, based on what you've been through and how you navigate it, how do you use it in your life?
I want to sing you a song real
Yes.
quick.
What's the title? Tell me what the title is.
It's called Where You Are, Be Where You Are.
Okay, I want to preface this first.
Okay.
Okay, to my audience, Shekinah is love, light, all good things in this world. But as I mentioned earlier, there are specific times in my life when I've gone through things and Shekinah will create a song from that becomes my mantra. This song, she sang the song to me close to 3 years ago when I left everything that I'd ever known and just like you had a jump moment. And we would have these calls on video, or we would be video chatting, we would video chat almost every day. and just oppressive thoughts and the what should I be doing? And how do I get out of this? And how do I move forward? And I remember she kind of just kept saying, be where you are. And she sang the chorus to this song that she had created. And I've never forgotten it. Never. So she is blessing our ears today with one of the most beautiful songs that you'll ever hear because there's so much power in it. So that was your intro because it's going to be awesome. Oh no. Oh, I thought I lost you. Go ahead.
If you're lonely, you're hurting, you carry shame, be where you are. Be where you are. If you're searching for answers to light the way, be where you are. Just be where you are. For where you are is the only place that you can be. There you'll find hidden treasures to fulfill your dreams. So sing in the rain, stand through the pain, just be where you are. Light will shine through, hope comes right to you if you're where you are. So I sing it here now to answer your question because lessons I'm learning most right now in my life is how to stop doing and how I realize the essence of humanity is in our innate identity to just be bloom the sun and just shines. And so I know that I need that everything that's in me comes out. The songs that I write that touch people's hearts, the conversations that inspire or that create for magic to transpire, the relationships that mean the most, they all have happened when I was not trying to do anything. When I laid down trying and just started I'm just gonna be. And so right now that is where I am and I want to reside. It's just in a state where I can just be present, be here, be where I am. If I'm dealing with something to just experience it. If I'm not dealing with anything, then rejoice that I'm, just experience that too. Um, so yeah.
I love it.
Thank
I want to close out with one more question. So
you.
there's people that are watching this that maybe are at a point where you were before your pivotal moment, realizing you're busy but unfulfilled, realizing that they're around a lot of people but lonely, realizing that they don't really have a direction or a purpose or a passion. What would be
Mm.
your advice to them?
My immediate advice is write, and reflect. Make time for what is important first and put everything else around it. If you need an hour a day or an hour a week to just realize and think about what you need to get for your life in order, then don't say I don't have time for it. You make the time for it. But write your thoughts, write your dreams, write your desires, and then you'll begin to have questions. You'll see patterns, and then before you know it, you say, "Okay, I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do this. That didn't work. I'll do this." That's
Yeah,
what I say.
I love that.
Thank you.
So before we go, how can any audience that's watching or listening, how can they get a hold of you? How can they get in touch with you?
This is so interesting because I just decided that I wanted to unplug from all social media, and then my freaking best friend asked me to be on her Facebook Live. I had to create a damn Facebook account for your ass. I don't fucking know. If you want it, here's my number. Here's my email. Here's my ad. Don't know. You can't have my address.
No,
Okay, so no. All right. So Gloria 8601 on Instagram. Gloria 8601. I took the app off my phone, but I do still have the account. And then my email address because I'll check my email, is Shekinah.gloria8. So SHEKINAH .gloria, the number 8 at gmail.com. Amy, I know it's long. I know it's too many letters. I don't even like saying it, but you know what? If
I'm
they
gonna write
care,
it down.
they'll email me if they don't get one.
I'll have it in the comments just in case someone needs
Yes,
to bring
yes,
some of them. But
yeah.
Shekinah is an extremely talented singer-songwriter. If you want to contact her for an event, to write a song, or just to chat with her, she's one of the most amazing human beings in the world. Shekinah, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on here, sharing your story, for your vulnerability, for singing and serenading. If it doesn't impact anybody else, it made my day. Just so you know.
Thank you.
But one of the most important things that I want to reiterate to anybody that's watching is that your story is so valuable. And the thing that I find is so amazing about you, Shekinah, is that you've been gifted with the ability to sing songs with the beautiful voice and the ability to write very profound lyrics. And where all of that comes from is your life, is the things that
Mm,
you're experiencing, what you're allowing to flow through you, what you're allowing to come in, and then you let it come out. First, it comes, right? First, it comes to heal you and to speak to
yeah.
you, and you experience it, you live it. Then you release it out for it to impact us as well. So this is the message to everybody, whatever you've been gifted and talented with that wasn't taught to you, that wasn't, you know, put on a platter and said, learn this. It's just something that has naturally come to you, haven't had to force it. That's it. That's where the channel that your story flows through. So I encourage you today to um, understand the connection between who you are, the talents you possess, and the story that is a part of your life. It should not be a place of shame or guilt, but it should be celebrated. And today I celebrate your story to kind of where you come from, where you are, and where you're going. And I thank you for being my angel, my best friend, and just one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you all for watching.